Welcome to my daily review. Today is Thursday, August 7th. You're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which continues to grind higher. It eked out a 73-point gain today, or 0.35%, a little lighter than 4% below the 50-day average volume, which we don't really care about. But we know what stocks are moving this index higher, and a lot of stocks are not doing quite as well. So yeah, it's the NVIDIA and the Apple and the Microsoft, the Google. This is now 4.8% above the 50 and 1.8% above this magenta line, which it closed below last Friday. And then we came in Monday and it just got right back above it, and it's just continuing the grind higher. So it's definitely something to watch. Below the 21, I'm way more cautious. Above the 21, I'm way more aggressive. And that's just the way I like to run things. It's, kind of helped me along the way. You got to have some guardrails to protect yourself in the market from getting slaughtered. And so that's one of them that I use. The RSP that was down, this is the equal weight once again. It's just showing you that the most of the stocks in the S&P are lower, and those 8, 10 stocks, the large stocks, are driving that NASDAQ higher. So, yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. If Apple and yeah, Apple's going to be up 3%, your indexes are probably going to be up 3%. You can see here today it traded up to the 200, which is 220 today, 221, and then it got the Matambo treatment a little bit, although it closed at 81% of the daily range. Something to watch for with Apple, but I don't want to get into Apple. I got a lot of stuff to get to. I'm going to do some earnings from last night, this morning. And I'm gonna do some themes and get into tonight's earnings reports and what to look forward to tomorrow. All right, I'm going to start off with last night's earnings report, including AppLovin. This one, they reported a phenomenal quarter, had a great conference call. You can see the sales growth here, 39, 44, 71, 77. I was going to put this one on my radar list. Obviously, this thing's in a base, trading tight. I've mentioned this one a lot recently. And yesterday I had an inside day, and today popped on the earnings. But last night it sold off. It was down like $30 following earnings, down to like 460, 450, excuse me, 350. And then this morning, it just caught fire, right? At the open, it dipped a little bit, but it didn't take long. The buyers stepped in and said, hey, that's a great quarter. I want to buy App 11. And it was down to 385 was the low, and it just popped hard. And then, it's kind of say glided into the close. Not bad though. Uh, 76% of its daily range, up 12%. Phenomenal move. I didn't put it on my red list because, you can't really go, you can't go heavy into an earnings report because you've seen a lot of stocks get slaughtered. This one worked out well, but I'm going to show you a bunch of them that didn't, because that's what happened in earnings. So you got to manage your risk, and you just can't be buying willy-nilly in front of an earnings report. Although it worked out well for the folks at App 11. Dutch Bros reported last night, phenomenal quarter. I did listen to their conference call. It's the same thing they've been saying at all these events that they go to. Wall Street's not listening to these guys, but pretty phenomenal report, and the guidance was strong. I think is nearly 5% same store sales. Yeah, this is they're just growing. They want to do 2,029 stores by 2029, and right now they're around 1,000. So they're going to double their the stores in about what, 4 years. So yeah, so they're going to double probably their revenue. They did say they got 19% return on equity and a nice cash flow in this young company. You could see the monthly chart here. It looks like, the ones that I've been showing you from 2021, like Robinhood, and that one popped higher. Just yeah. So, and what's the other one? DoorDash, I believe. Yeah, this one looks kind of similar, but Dutch Bros looks fantastic, and I lost my train of thought what I was going to say about their their business, but business, they're cooking. All right, Duolingo. I'm sucking on the Dutch Bros tea right now. This thing was up like $100 this morning, and then sold off as Microsoft announced something. I forget what it was. There you go. Yeah, this one was really ramping higher, and then whoop, Microsoft, can't let Duolingo have a day in the sun, but it got rejected essentially at the 50 and closed near the lows of its daily range. But still, 13 and a half, nearly a 14% move for Duolingo. On their earnings report, TPC, they announced a really strong quarter. Do not like the way it closed, so they're at 3% of the daily range. Nice gap, but man, that close is that's not something that I like to see. But with STRL and TPC, and tonight we have Will Dan, which I'm going to get to. This thing's up, to $100 now, up 13%. This group is showing a lot of strength, and I'm not going to show you the group because I just did, but nice report from TPC. All right, Fortinet, not so lucky, and this is what I mean. If you think you got a really well-managed company, which this is, pretty strong stock, which it's been forever. And then today it just falls out on earnings. This is something very concerning. And it dropped the entire cybersecurity group, which I may get to a little later on. But yeah, Fortinet, well-managed company. Wall Street did not like what they had to say. So yeah, this is the risk you take. 22%, that hurts. That is not fun. I felt it earlier in the week. And then everybody's saying, hang in there, Marty. So I thank you for your words of encouragement. I've been doing this a long time. If you're gonna, swing the bat, you're gonna strike out some, and you just got to keep swinging. The worst thing you could do is like get defensive and not trade, or try to overtrade or revenge trade and try to get everything back on the next trade. That doesn't happen. You just you want to stick to the fundamentals, blocking and tackling, and just keep doing what you do. If you make a mistake, that's okay. Don't let it get to you. But you do have to keep mixing my analogies here. You got to keep swinging the bat, and don't leave the bat on the shoulder. Don't be afraid, because this is a nice uptrending market. There's a lot of stocks doing well. And yeah, don't let it get you down. DraftKings, the gamblers out there, we know you're out there. Wow, this thing pulled back to the 21 and just flat in the session. I was surprised because that thing was up pretty nicely when I looked at the open. Oh well, went from 47, closed at 45. It looks okay. IONQ, this is one of those quantum names, and down 2%. Just big red numbers here in the earnings, but they went from what, 12, 11, 7 million, 20 million in sales. So pretty hard to justify a, 11.5 billion market cap with that kind of sales. But this is highly speculative, AI and quantum and anything that flies and drones type of environment. So there's a lot of speculating going on. But that one got hit. Speaking of flying machines, Joby, they reported and down 9%. That's about par for the course there. Um, Groupon reported up 20%. Nice move. Once again, though, closed 15% of the daily range. So that's not what you want to see on these gaps. You want to see them, closing near the, at least the upper half of the daily range. So Groupon, still a nice day, though. I mean, if you're a shareholder and you're up 20%, you're very happy with that move today. Okay, a couple other ones. This is what had a lot of people ask me, like, what's wrong with GEV? Well, when you get these, yesterday it was NRG that reported, and this thing got slapped around, had an inside day today. This morning, CEG reported, and this thing was down. Finished okay, though, huh? 62% of the daily range. And then the other one was Vistra, VST. They reported, well, they were up 2% today. Wow, I should have bought that one. Yeah, it dipped at the open heart and then came back. Okay, so there were some buyers. But, GEV, I think I'll get to it later. Maybe not. No, I don't think it's on my. So if you're in GEV, which a lot of you are, this thing's just kind of going sideways, one up, one down, one up, one down, or in this case, 15 up, 15 down. But it's just kind of digesting these gains. What you don't want to see is you don't want to see it slipping too far below that five. Right now, it's 1.1% below the five. So you want to see it get back above that tomorrow or next week and not coming down to the 21, although it will do that and find support, hopefully. but can also slice through the 21 and down to the 50. So yeah, you got to be careful here with GEV. But it's been a big run for a long time. If I just look at the yearly, as of nearly 300% in the last year. So give it a little bit of a break here. It's been a big winter. And it's not going to go up straight to the skies. There's going to be bases along the way and like pullbacks to the 21 like we just had here on July 22nd. All right. That's enough for that group. Lilly got hit, with a double whammy today. Their weight loss drug trials showed that Novo Nordisk now has the better weight loss compound in trials, and Viking has got even better. So I think that makes a Viking even more appealing or attractive to those two companies. We'll see, but they got hit with most favored nation stuff from our administration here, and then Celsius reported. This one went through up 17%. Once again, closed near the lows of the session. But if you look at the weekly, this thing's got the classic Weinstein, stage two, stage three, stage four. And now it's coming out of stage four, excuse me, stage one, which is like this flat stage, and maybe ascending into stage two. So this is definitely one to watch here above that $50 level. Celsius. Let me see. What else we got here? Oh, Datadog. Datadog reported it was ramping in pre-market and just crapped the bed. Datadog. Oof, yeah, there you go. Sellers galore, big pink bars. They wanted out of Datadog. Software is being sold, folks, and I have a good idea why, but it doesn't matter why. It's just there's more sellers than buyers. So there's selling pressure on these software names. NBIS reported up 18%. Once again, closing near the lows of the session. You just don't want to see. I don't want to see that, I should say. Yeah, 27% of the daily range, so the lower half. But still a nice day. 18.5%. We'll take that all day long. INSM, they reported, and I sold this one coming into earnings because I figured they would not do well, and then buy back ahead of their PDUFA next week. Yeah, next week. Allegedly, it could be any day. It could be tomorrow. It could be the weekend. It could be next week or the next weekend, but coming soon. They're going to have an FDA either approval or rejection or a letter. Um, anyway, Shark NATO. The Shark Ninja had a nice move and then, did what a lot of stocks did today. 15% of the daily range. Yeah, it was up to 128, closed at 115. So that kind of stinks. Maybe it's foreshadowing where it wants to go. The Sharks will do that. And then the last one is IBP. This is another one of these building maintenance, top group, right? And this one popped 20%, a move not to be ignored. And it's still not out of the base. So, give it some time here. 259 if you're interested in that one. Yeah, let it mellow out, have some inside days. What we've seen a lot is stocks move like this, and then the next day it just kind of goes, it squats and it has an inside day. And I think I have some stocks to show you. Anyway, all right, I'm going to get to some themes. Obviously, the semiconductor names were strong today, and even after hours, NVIDIA is up. But yeah, 183.88, I believe. Yeah, there's a new high for NVIDIA today. And then I bought AMD. I had it on the ready list. I should have bought it yesterday because it traded down to the 21 on Wednesday and then closed just a tick above it. And that's kind of like this is the stock that's in high demand and it's finding support at the 21. That's probably when you should buy it, right? But I did, and I waited till the morning and still had a nice day with it. And I'm hoping that I can swing trade it. Yeah, it gapped up at the open, but really hammered up to 175.75. Close at 172.40. But yeah, still a nice day for AMD. So AMD and Robinhood I bought this morning. I put on the ready list and trying to be a little more aggressive in the market and buying what the market is liking right now. AVGO. There was news last night, and a lot of these semiconductor names were up, especially Taiwan semi up nearly 5%. Micron, I don't know how many times the administration mentioned Micron. They must have got long Micron. They were definitely pumping it. That was up, nearly 3% today. ALAB, this is what I'm talking about. When you get a move like that, and that was a massive move on Wednesday. So today it just pulls back 2%. That's what you want to see. Allow this green line to catch up a little bit. Yeah, sure, you want to see it gap and go and get really extended, and we make money every day, but that's not reality. If you want a healthy long-term, swing trade, yeah, you want to see that moving average catch up and find support there. Today, that five was at 146.78. Yesterday it was at 132. So, excuse me, Tuesday it was at 132. Yesterday it was at 146. Today was up 154. So, going up rapidly. With that kind of ascent, it won't take, more than another day or two for this one to have the 5 EMA catch up. And it'll probably blast off again. I think this one's probably going to go to 200 here. What a nice week, up 30% for you ALAB longs. Congratulations to you folks. All right, I think that's it for the, oh no, I've got Credo. Credo made a false move today. Yeah, it was up to 121.50, close it. We've seen a lot of this, where the stocks are moving higher and then sell off. But it did close nicely, high volume close. And yeah, looks good for a Credo. They don't have earnings until the 27th. And then ALGM, somebody asked me to look at this. And I would say on this one, it's shown the ability to move, right? 16 to 38. I mean, come on. That's a big move. So it's digesting gains and it undercut the 50, but don't give up on this because we've seen a lot of stocks undercut their 50. And then what do? They rally right back through. Okay, so just because it's below the 50 now, I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I would sell this, but I would also watch it. If it starts to rally back through, I'd buy it back. If I like the stock. This is not one that I typically follow or trade, but yeah, I wouldn't give up on it. It's down, what, 4 weeks in a row. That's not good. But like I said, it's in a strong group. Okay, this group is a top 10 group. Earnings are behind it. Yeah, it's under the 50. So whoever asked, I forget who it was, but I would not give up on this. Just watch it. If it rallies back through the 50, then it's go time. All right, that's it for the semis. I've got to get to this gold group. I've been mentioning these every day this week, and I put this one on my red list. I didn't buy it. I'm kind of kicking myself. You don't normally see gold up 22% in a week, but these are some of the stronger names in the market for 2025. That's the year we're in, Marty. And this one's up, 94% on the year, excuse me, in the last year. So these things are showing strength. That's a nice move here. And gold is the commodity itself has been, a little stronger this week. So we've had some nice moves. I just want to point out something here, like on that last stock, I'll get back to it, but AEM, this is one of the leaders in the group, and you can see that it makes this big move, right? And then it consolidates. There's sellers, right? Profit takers. And then you get some nibblers, and it's not ready to go yet. So what does it do? It forms another base. But before it makes its move, it shakes out. You get this a lot. A big shakeout, the last of the Mohicans, the last of the weak hands, the last of like, I give up on this, it's not doing anything. I'm gonna go buy NVIDIA. And then it pops, right? Right off the 21 here. And you can see the same thing with the stock that I just showed you. Goldfields, big move, 12 to 25. We'll take a two bagger. And it's not ready to go yet here. You get some sellers, some profit takers, and then what does it do? Can't break out. So it forms another base. And what does it do though? Before the move, the last of the sellers, the last of the weak hands, they get out, they're tired of the stock. Like I say, they're gonna go buy AMD or NVIDIA, and it pops off the moving average. And this one really ramped. I just showed you it was up, I don't know, what was I say? 22% this week. So you see that a lot, the shakeout before the breakout. All right. I'm going to move on. Well, I guess I got some other gold stocks. I'll just flip through these quickly. Once again, this same type of profile, right? You know, big move, some profit takers in here, not ready to go yet. And then right before the move, you get the shakeout and then the breakout. OR, another gold stock. This is a really strong group. And there's your move back to the moving average. Then it finds support and pops. This one's up a lot this week too. Yeah, 9%. Okay, that's enough of those. Gold stocks. We got some silver moving. Once again, you see the same type of move. Undercut the 50. This is what I'm talking about for those of you holding that ALGM semiconductor, it undercuts the 50 and you give up on it, right? Then what does it do? It just rallies right back through and makes a new high. This is a PASS Pan American Silver up 16% this week. And the other silver play that I like is MAG up 12% this week. Same profile. You can see this heavy selling. The weak hands are getting out. They're just giving up. They're going to go buy NVIDIA. And then this thing pops. So anyway, that's it for the mining, gold, and silver group. Very strong group, man. Too bad I don't own any of them. All right. Well, that Dutch Bros tea is good. Um, earlier in the year, I was talking a lot about these, with the new administration's policies, the European stocks were doing really well, and they kind of, stalled for a little bit, but now they're starting to ramp again. This is a Bank of Santander. This one made a new high today. Some of these European stocks are really flexing once again. And stocks will do that. They'll run up, then they'll consolidate, go into a little base, and they'll start moving again. And that's why you have to, monitor these things. This is Deutsche Bank making a high again today. TIGO. This is one that I did own earlier. I sold it because, I get tired too, and I buy stuff like Robinhood and AMD. But a Millicom, it made a new high today. Wow. Yeah, this thing's up a lot in the last year. I mean, yeah, 70% move. We'll take that. So a lot of the European stock, or some of the European stocks are doing well, making new highs. This is British American Tobacco, UK, tobacco products. So I think they do the, what was it, the oral? I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know, chewing tobacco maybe, or I don't know, vaping. I don't know what these guys do. I don't know. Maybe they make cigarettes, old-fashioned style. But anyway, these European stocks doing well. Just wanted to point that out. Just observing the market, watching the fish tank. We got slow fish, we got fast fish, we got fish that swim to the bottom and fish that swim to the top. We got big fish, we got little fish, and we have micro strategy. Remember, I just talked about this the sell off, from 457, undercut the 50. Now, what did it do today? It rallied back above the 50, up above 402. I would say 400 would be your, line in the sand there. I don't like it below 400, and I like it above 400. Coinbase got slaughtered last week on earnings, undercut the 50. Now, what's it doing, right? This looks like yeah, wants to maybe rally back through. And then the last one in this crypto group, I'm not going to spend too much time on it, was Robinhood. I did mention that I bought this one because it broke above its downtrend line. I think it needs time to form a base, but if it wants to break out, I don't want to miss it. And things are happening very quickly these days, so you have to be really quick. But it broke above that downtrend line this morning, and I had it on the radar list. So, I bought a full position. It bounced off the 21. So, found support there. Like I said, if it wants the gap above that 113.44, it's really going to start cooking, and I don't want to miss that. So, yeah. So, I'm in it to win it, and we'll see how it goes. Originally, though, I thought it was going to form a base, kind of like, when you make a move like that, that's 282% move. You really can't expect it to just continue just ripping higher. But if that's what it wants to do, I'm all for it. Oh, the last one, I lied. That was not, Hood was not my last one. Galaxy, this one, IPO, I just talked about this, right? These sellers, right? Came in last week. Yeah, and now it's up 4.5% this week. This is one that I'm definitely watching. We got earnings out of the way. It's above its moving averages. And I already have Robinhood, so I probably won't buy this one, but it's one that I watch. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to move off the crypto names. And I mentioned earlier about how software has been selling off, except for Palantir. Palantir making new highs today. I want to say it was above 183, still closed at 182.20, 184.48. Yeah, and had a nice move at the open and sold off. I think that's kind of what the index did today, right? Opened higher and then kind of whimpered and then kind of finished okay. So we like that. We like positive finishes. Oracle, another one's kind of in the, I don't know, software defense, but just pulling back a little bit. Still looks good, trending higher. But man, the software names, you got to be careful. They are being sold, and I know the theory. This is ZETA reported earnings had a nice gap on Wednesday of 27%. That is a power earnings gap. And today did what you kind of expect it to do. And that is just give a little back, right? 3%. And if it wants to come back to that 18, I talked about that with Extreme last night and last night's video too. When they pop like that, Extreme just had an inside day. Don't give up on these or I should say, don't chase them because they will give you another chance to get in there, around $19. It closed 94 cents above there, but maybe it'll pull back. You see, it's allowing that 5 EMA to catch up here, this green line. So just be patient if you want, if you want to own a stock, don't chase, wait for them to come to you. And if they don't, then you just got to say, so long, I'll catch the next train. All right, where are we at here? Oh, yeah. I was mentioning that these software names are really selling off. This is concerning, and the thought process is on Wall Street that the AI is going to be make everything more efficient and make software less serviceable. So, software as a service, I don't know. I'm not going to say they're going to be obsolete, but I guess Wall Street's thinking that with the efficiency of AI, software might not be quite so, how should I put it? Effective or needed. ServiceNow, that's a Salesforce, that's a Dow Jones component. ServiceNow has really been selling off. So a lot of these, these are big stocks. These are big names here. 181 billion market cap. CRM's got a 230 billion market cap. So these are not small stocks. 143 billion for Adobe. So just putting it out there, just observing. Yeah, software is not good. And I mentioned earlier the Fortinet earnings report, and you get pin action both ways. You get pin action to the upside on a good report, and you get pin action to the downside. Today, these cybersecurity names got some pin action to the downside from the Fortinet report. This is CrowdStrike, and I've been watching this one since that 517 that it made here on was it July 517 on July 3rd, and it's been selling off since Independence Day. Yeah, so not good, but maybe it'll just form a base here. There's going to be winners and losers in the cybersecurity space too. I think CrowdStrike will be one of the winners, but Zscaler doing the same thing. This thing really was having trouble there at 300, and it couldn't hang above it. And so, man, this thing's selling off. And the other one was Rubrik, one that I like, and I continue to say this thing needs more time. I did try it last week or the week before, recently, and I got stopped out of it. So it's just not ready. I don't think quite yet, and not as much damage as those other two that I just showed you. Why? Well, because it's just a tick below the 50, while the others are well below the 50. All right. My last group that I'm going to get to, Walmart, the retailers. I've made some of my best bones in the market in retail. Technology, obviously, but I've done really well in retail because, well, back in the day, you would be able to go to the mall and you can kind of see who's shopping where, right? It's a little different now with everything online, but you can still see the trends. Walmart is one of the strong names, and this is a Dow Jones component. Just setting up in a base or trying to break out up nearly 5% this week. Um, they reported the 21st, so that's coming up. CROX, I didn't mention them at the top. They reported this morning, and they withdrew guidance. They're going to get hit hard from the tariffs because they manufacture in China and Vietnam, and down 30%. They don't know what to do with the Hey Dude brand. They hired a guy from Stanley, and then they had Sydney Sweeney, be a spokesperson for the group, and it was not as effective for them. I think if you ask the CEO and, behind closed doors, he would tell you that the Hey Dude acquisition has been a big mistake because it's added to their debt here. They still have a lot of debt. This thing is a cash cow. They got 48% return on equity. But it's the Crocs brand that's doing all the heavy lifting here. And Hey Dude's just like an albatross. And, I think if they were able to, I don't know, pawn off Hey Dude or do something with it, I think the Crocs brand would do pretty well. But, they wanted to branch out and buy Hey Dude, much like Decker's bought Hoka. But Hey Dude is no Hoka. And Sydney Sweeney's not helping. But she is helping American Eagle. And this one's got this I know it's below the 200. I know it ramped, but it's got this flag type pattern here, which I like, even though it's below the 200. So this is one that I'm watching, American Eagle. The president even tweeted about this thing, up 17% this week. Trying to emerge once again from this stage four decline to a stage one base. And if this can get into a stage two uptrend, I'm all for it. So hopefully, Sydney Sweeney, that I guess she's got good genes, very attractive young woman, and that commercial has been going viral, so it's been good for American Eagle. And that's kind of the way sometimes, stocks start rocking, you get a nice boost from an advertisement and the thing takes off. All right, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. Accept and honor the great Steve Jobs. We have one more thing. I'm trying to keep these videos short, and I've not been very successful. After hours tonight, we have earnings from one of the top stocks in the top group, the mining and metal group, MP Materials. This thing's up more than 7%. So that's good for us longs, right? Yay. MP, TTD. There's three stocks fighting for like the worst stock of the night. Trade Desk is one of them. That looks fugly. SEZL, 21%. Okay, this thing was down to 100, so it's back up $9 here. Woohoo! Still down 21%. And then Sweet Greens. I think somebody was saying they charge $18 for a salad, so that's not going to cut it in this economy. Down 25%. In a clear, steady downtrend, this is one really strong stock here, kind of a Wall Street darling in 24, and in 25, yep, not so much. You get the old ski slope, like the Jim Morrison song, when the music's over, turn out the lights. Uh, and we have a lot of stocks like that, not just those three. Uh, yeah, I'm going to show you a bunch of them here that are not doing well. Sound Hound up 10% after hours on their report, so that's a good thing. SMR, I did not see the report. I was looking for it because these energy names, they need a boost here, and it looks like they're not getting it from SMR. Let's see here. Oklo reports next week. Maybe we get a boost from them. GEV already reported, and they had a good report, but yeah, this group needs well, it's the top group. It's been doing great, but if you don't want it to sell off or form bases, then it needs some affirmation from some earnings report. Kratos Defense down 3% following their report. They wrote a novel on their press release. My gosh, I couldn't even read the whole thing. It was like War and Peace. All right, Carmen reported. Very nice brief release from them. Just give us the nuts and bolts. All right. On your conference call, you can get into the details, but up 5-6% after hours, 7%. Good for Carmen. This is a nice looking IPO. Defense name out of Huntington Beach, California. Yeah, very nice. Down 4% this week. That's going to change tomorrow, hopefully. Pins, oh boy. Pins, either this one really ramps with earnings or it gaps lower, and it's going to gap lower tomorrow. XYZ, I just cannot get over this stock. XYZ, it's formerly Square, formerly Block, now XYZ, which is formerly, not in my hemisphere, not in my realm of stocks that I cover. These guys are ridiculous, but they went into the S&P ahead of AppLovin and Robinhood. Oh, by the way, Paramount and what was it, Skydance are merging and they're going to be booted out of the S&P. So there will be a new stock in the S&P 500 here coming up. And it could be AppLovin or Robinhood, but like I said, it's no reason to buy a stock or sell a stock, but just pointing it out. Monster, one of the greatest stocks of this century, reported up 5% after hours. You don't believe me? Look at this. Forever and ever. Let's go back to what, 2000 for Monster? Yeah, it's up like what, 113,000%. Some ridiculous. Yeah, it makes Apple look like a piper. Yeah, yeah, this one's been a monster. And even Deckers, the great Deckers. Yeah, Monster has been a monster. I think it is the top performing stock in this century in the two. Yeah. Oh well. What are you gonna do? You gonna buy it here now? I don't know. You don't want to buy alcohol drinks, but these energy drinks are very popular. All right, a couple more here. I did mention Jim Morrison saying when the music's over, and with GoDaddy, it looks like the music's over. Turn out the lights. This thing's in a stage 4 decline. Earnings tonight, I saw it. Decent earnings, but the stock was down. Now it's not registering here on Market Surge, but I don't hold out much hope for a stock trending like that. And I mean, when you see the 50, the 21, all the faster term moving average trade below the 200, the slow term moving average, I mean, you just can't hold on to something like that. You don't know how low it's going to go or how long that's going to last. And the last one is OUST. They reported tonight up 14% after hours. This one just pulled back to its 50, kind of loitered around there for a few days, and now it's going to pop tomorrow back above 26. Hopefully it'll hold it. We'll see. And then tomorrow morning, we have a couple of names that I'm interested in. Fubo TV, they report TEM. This has been in the news a lot. And then Wendy's. I'm always interested in the restaurants. It's very tough business. In fact, Texas Roadhouse reported tonight. Okay, no register there. That's probably why I didn't write it down. All right, that's it this time for sure. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.